I've been working on this project for a while, a weather station using the Raspberry Pi Pico W and a dozen sensors to measure the environment. Solar and battery powered. This is based on some kit sensors from SparkFun, but the electronics and software is all my work. Let me tell you all about it. Hi, I'm John, your concierge to the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico, Pico 2, robotics, IoT and other fun tech. Remember to subscribe and join the community. This video is an introduction to this weather station project. I have so much more to tell you about it, of all the additional sensors, the PCB design, the software design, and the security of the project. There'll be several more exciting videos on this series. In this video, I want to talk about the scope and goals of the project. Well, how they stand right now anyway. The kit that I'm using and getting this fundamentals of the project really going. If you like this video and it helps your learning or projects, why not drop me a cash tip using the super thanks button below the video. I'm saving these up to get myself to open source in San Francisco next year, and I'd appreciate your help in getting me there, and I hope to see you there too. Please hit the like button on the video and subscribe for more. So the concept here is to build a weather station that can be out there in the elements, measuring what's going on with the weather and then reporting that data back constantly to Dr Jon EA Towers and telling me what's going on. And this all started with this kit, which just basically gives me the basic measurements. And it's just the hardware. There's no of the electronics or brain behind it. It's just a bunch of sensors that I'm going to plug in and actually work from on, of course, a Pico, or a Pico W actually. So this is going to give me the ability to measure rainfall. Is it raining at the moment? How much rain has happened in the last half hour, day, etc. What's the current wind speed? What's the direction of that wind? And all of that is going to be from the basic sensors on this kit. And I'll talk more about that kit in a bit. The other thing I'm going to want, of course, is temperature. So to measure the temperature and indeed the humidity of the environment. To power all of this, I'm going to use a battery and solar. So I'm not going to run power out of the house to the unit. It's all going to be trying to run continuously off environmental power. We'll see if that works, especially in the UK where sunlight is not always guaranteed. So we're going to have rain, wind speed and wind direction from the basic sensors that I got off that kit. Temperature and humidity, well, I use an AHT10 and I've done videos on that before. And then battery and solar is what I'm going to use to charge this up and run this. Hopefully, let's see if that works. There are lots of things that can go wrong and this project is still only halfway through. So we may deviate slightly in my approach, but we will see how that goes. One way we can deviate is I get distracted by other exciting little things. And so that's already happened to an extent because my friends at DF Robots sent me a Sen 0500 to review and look at. And this is a nice little sensor which can do temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, UV and ambient light. And of course, guess what? I want to add that onto the project. So that's already deviating and giving us some extra stuff to look at. And I'll do a special video on that sensor coming up soon. This video is sponsored by WolfSSL. When I'm looking at this weather station, because it's out in the environment, I need to really think about security. And my partners like WolfSSL to help me with that. So I need to think about how I'm securing the data that's transferring from my weather station to Dr Jon EA Towers. How am I going to protect the actual code and crucial information that's actually on this device to prevent someone actually physically stealing it or getting in and placing their own malicious code in that environment. And those are all things that I can look at WolfSSL to help me with. WolfSSL provide security in and libraries for things like TLS in their WolfSSL library. So that gives us transport level security. they've got WolfCrypt to actually help us work with encrypted data and storing data. WolfBoot to give us secure boot, to make sure that the code we're booting is actually the code that I wrote, not that someone else has added to my device. WolfSSH, so if I want to use the SSH protocol and the TPM, the security modules that we can actually buy and add in, which would actually greatly increase the security of things like the weather station. When you think security, think WolfSSL and go and have a look at both their open source and their commercial libraries, which can help you out with commercial support too. So what is my plan for connectivity and security indeed for this project? Well, I need to get data from my weather station over into Dr Jon EA Towers. And I'm going to do that by Wi-Fi because this device isn't actually going to be very far from my back door. So I'm just going to actually use Wi-Fi, and hopefully that's going to be stable enough to actually work. Now, how am I going to then get the data across, and how am I encoding that data? Well, I did think originally that I would do this as IoT and use MQTT. And I've done a course all about that connectivity that's over on the Udemy platform. And that's, definitely a really good option for this. But when I thought through the use case and the way that it actually would work, it really is just wake up, submit data, go back to sleep again. In which case I thought really a web service client would actually be better to just post the data across every couple of minutes when I've taken a sample. And so I'm actually going to go with the web services model. And remember, I've also got a course over on Udemy that tells you all about how to build web services clients on the Raspberry Pi Pico W in C++. So it's going to be web services, and then of course I'm going to secure it, and I'm going to secure it using TLS. And that's going to be from our friends at WolfSSL. So the kit is called a Weathermeter, and it's actually by SparkFun, but I bought it from Pimeroni, and it's available from lots of retailers. It comes in a box with all the bits. So here we've got the anemometer, as you can see here, all pretty much pre-assembled. We're just going to basically put it on a large pipe and crossbeam. And then we've got the Weathervane there. And finally we've got perhaps the weirdest bit, the rain sensor, which is a continuous rain sensor. So inside there is a little balance which actually measures the amount of water and then self-empties. Assembly is pretty simple. It's really just putting the actual framework and then attaching the sensors to that. As you can see, we've got the wind sensors on, and then we're just bung on the rain sensor. The rain gauge is a self-emptying rain gauge. So it's that basically tip process that goes on there. And it uses an RJ11 connector to give you basically to the either end of a reed switch. And that's all it is. It's a magnet that every time the little pendulum swings from one side to another, it's going to hit that reed switch and give you a single signal. So I was originally going to measure this just using a normal interrupt reading cycle, as I would a switch in most of my code. That doing then a little bit of debouncing in software, because that reed switch does bounce just a little bit, and sampling that over time. But then I realized that actually for rain sensing you really do need constant reading. So I've actually had to completely change strategy, and I'm now going to use a PWM counter instead, which means using channel B of any PWM channel on the RP2040. To debounce it and smooth it a little bit, I'm just using a 0.1 microfarad capacitor, and that gives me a really nice count working via PWM, which means that I can actually count why the unit is awake and burning 30 milliamps plus of power off my battery, and also count why it's asleep when I'm actually only burning 1.6 milliamps. I've done a video that actually talks about that sleep process and how you actually can use PWM while you're in deep sleep on a Pico or RP2040. Go take a look at that video. The anemometer is very similar in some ways to the rain gauge. It is a compact anemometer and connected again by an RJ11 connector, and it's basically just another reed switch in there, and every time the unit makes a circuit, it is going to connect that reed to give you a switch and a signal. So once again, we could choose to actually use the interrupt reading strategy and debouncing software, and I did think about using that quite seriously in this, because actually for wind speed I pretty much are going to do sampling while the unit is awake, probably because I want to actually do some statistics on that to look for things like minimum gusts and maximum gusts and how that wind is actually behaving. But I am going to actually use the PWM counter in the same way I'm going for the range gauge to do that, again using capacitor to smooth it. That way I can actually have continuous count going on all the time anyway, but then every time I'm awake I can actually do some of the stats calculations. The Weathervane again connects using an RJ11 connector, and again it's based on reed switches, but this time it's reed switches connected to a bunch of resistors, and it can connect one or two of the resistors in this array across via the reed switches in order to give you different resistances, which allow you to measure 16 different angles that the weather vane is actually pointing to. One of the other nice things on this is it's actually got a pass-through for the RJ11 from the anemometer, which means you actually need less connectors on your circuit board. So the resistors and reed switches are basically arranged so that the magnet can activate one or two reed switches at a time, and therefore give you a different resistance for these 16 positions and 16 different angles. So my approach to reading this is basically to place the weather vane and the resistance is giving out in series with a second resistor as a voltage divider, and then measure the voltage in the middle of that divider, and then calculate the resistance therefore of the weather vane, and use that to then look up what is the closest value, because it's never going to be exact, in a lookup table of referenced resistance to angles, and then give the angle back that way. And that seems to work really well as a strategy. The weather station has been sitting in my lab for a while now. I've been working on each of the sensors and breadboarding the controls and electronics. Power consumption and therefore power control are quite important in this project. I will talk about that in a future video. There's lots of sensors on this, and I've used most of the Pico W's GPIO ports to connect everything. That gets you to a point where you're chasing connectivity issues on the breadboard more often than bugs, which is the point at which you order your PCB. And right now I'm ironing out some of the design issues and finalizing the code. A few steps ahead of this video. So stay tuned and subscribe to see how this project develops and the results I get. If you'd like this video and it helps your learning or your projects, why not drop me a cash tip using the super thanks button below the video. Remember, I'm saving these up to get myself to open source in San Francisco next year. I'd appreciate your help in getting me there, and of course I hope to see you there too. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please do hit that like button, and please subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. Bye bye for now.